Hello and welcome to this video on finding primary sources in communication studies. Hopefully you've already seen my video on identifying primary research articles within communication studies, but in this video we'll go into more depth about how you actually find those articles. So again, my name is Jenny Dale. I use she, her pronouns, and I am your communication studies librarian. I'm here to help you with anything you need related to research, whether it's finding, evaluating, or citing sources. Please feel free to email me at jedale2@uncg.edu. My goals for this video are that you'll feel comfortable accessing Communication and Mass Media Complete, or CMMC, through the library website, that you'll be able to create a keyword search in CMMC, locate a primary research article in CMMC, and then finally email or save the permalink to that article in order to access it later. So I'm going to head to the library homepage, that is library.uncg.edu, and I want to show you two different ways that you can access Communication and Mass Media Complete. The first is to click this databases link in the big red box. So a database is a searchable collection of information, and in the case of CMMC, Communication and Mass Media Complete, it is a searchable collection of scholarly sources in the field of communication studies. So I can navigate to it through the alphabet, or I can search communication. You can see I've done this before, and it is the first one that pops up. The most important thing is that you get to it through the library somehow, whether it's through that course guide, whether it's through the databases page. You want to make sure that you're accessing it through the library so that you can get access to all of the great content that's in here. So I am going to try a search here for relational dialectics theory. When I am doing research in communication studies, specifically looking at the looking for these primary research articles about theories, I usually start with a theory, and I'm just going to show you here. I'm going to click search. And you can see that I get 137 articles that come back, or sources that come back. I can put this theory in quotes, and that forces a phrase search for relational dialectics theory, those three words, in that order. So I'm searching again. It's taken a second here. And I have 135. So pretty similar. So not a big difference here. So I see here I have an article about Chinese corporate leaders, web-based messages. I see a source here. This is a conference paper. I'll show you in just a moment how you can filter it so that you don't get those. Here's one about physician communication. Here's one about romantic and competing cross-cultural discourses. Here is one about communicating tensions and challenges during the end of life journey. We're seeing a whole lot of different stuff come up here. So what this tells me is that this is a theory that can be applied in a lot of different applications, a lot of different contexts. But let's say that I am interested particularly in seeing if there's anything in here that applies this to friendship. So I am going to do friendships here. And I see just 7 results. One thing I can do here, and this is an advanced search option, I can end friendship early. I can end it friend and put an asterisk there. And what that's going to do is it's going to search for any word that begins with this root. So friends, friendship, friendships, and we'll see if that makes a difference with our search here. So it brought us back 2 more results, so 9 different sources that I'm looking at here. Now, if I want to make sure, because again, I see one of these conference papers, if I want to make sure that I'm only getting scholarly peer-reviewed articles, I can click this limit over here on the left side. So that took me back down to 7. 7 sources about relational dialectics theory and something related to friend, friends, friendship, anything that starts with that root. So when we use this and here that's built in, it just helps us narrow things down. So I'm going to take a look. I'm just going to look at this first one here. Front Row Friendships, Relational Dialectics, and Identity Negotiations by Mature Students at University. So this is pretty common. You see a situation here where we are talking about the application of relational dialectics theory to a pretty specific audience, mature students at university. So I clicked on the title to get to this page, which has more detailed information. You've probably heard me say before. In a library resource, click the title, and that's probably going to get you the information that you need. So here I can see all of the information I would need to cite this in APA. If I scroll down a bit, I can see the abstract of the article. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start looking for those clues to determine if this is a primary research article. So I see already right off the bat, and I'm going to highlight it on my screen, in this interpretive study. This particular author actually even uses first-person language. I examined the tensions. I employed a range of interviewing methods. But this is definitely making it very clear to me that this author, Neil O'Boyle, actually conducted the study that's being discussed here. And just as we talked about before, if I want to confirm that, I'm going to click this PDF full text, and I'm going to look for that methods section. So again, I'm seeing lots of citations within here, and that's to be expected. I want to know that Neil O'Boyle did some secondary research before actually engaging in his own study. So I'm seeing lots and lots of good stuff there. And then I've gotten to my section that's called method. And just like in the article example we looked at in our first video in this series, there's also a results section. And after quite a while, so you see the results look a little different here. This was a qualitative study with interviews and focus groups. So most of the results are just sort of quotes directly from participants in the study. And then I'll just keep going. It's a lot there. And then a discussion section where those results are described in more detail and the implications are explored. So if I decide that I like this article, I'm going to actually just go back one screen, take me back to this page with all that good information, and I'm going to do one of two things here. My suggestion and what works for me well in my personal research is to use the email button here. And the email button lets you put your email address in. You want to give it a subject. I'm going to call it Front Row Friendships. So that I can kind of remember what this is. It's going to send me a permalink, that's what they call it in this database, a permalink back to this page, so a stable URL that will get me back here no matter what, no matter how long it's been since I looked at it the first time. And then I am also going to ask it to, these are already checked, I'm going to uncheck HTML. All I care about is getting that full text PDF. It's going to attach that to the email it sends me. And I'm also going to ask it to change the citation format and send me an APA citation. But just know it's probably not 100% correct, but it's probably a great starting point for you to work with. So I'm going to click send, and those three things will be sent to me: a permalink back to this page, a PDF attachment, and an APA citation. Now, if you don't like to email yourself different stuff, if that's not the way you organize your research, you want to use this permalink button here. So this permalink right here it generates a permanent URL, a more stable URL, and I'm going to copy and paste that. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new Google Doc and say that this is, one of the places that I'm keeping track of my research. So I have pasted that in. Back over here, I just want to mention, you will also have a web address up here, just like you would with anything you're looking at online. But this is usually not as stable as what we have here. So in order to save yourself some frustration, I would definitely click that permalink. This is just a brief overview of how you can use Communication and Mass Media Complete in order to locate primary research articles. One thing, I'm going to go back to my results list here, and I just want to point out, we had that nice checkbox we could use to limit to scholarly or peer-reviewed articles. there's no checkbox for primary research articles. So it's really about you looking at that abstract, looking at the article to make sure that you're seeing those clues that we've talked about. And if you have questions about searching, if you're not finding the kind of sources you expect, or if you're having trouble identifying those primary research articles, please feel free to contact me. My email address is jedale2@uncg.edu.